SH. Huh. Uh, this is the live stream link as well. And with that tweet, we are live. Wow. Did we lose Haji? Oh, yeah. I think he did. Oh, God. This is going to mess up the whole layout. But who cares? No, no. We'll. This is how it is, right? Like, there's no stopping now. If we lost him, I'm going to reach out to him and see where he is at. Give me a second to kind of realign things. Ah, there. Power cutter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you should do a simpler introduction, Saj. What is the one-liner of Growth Pep? Come on, let's start there. Epic. How many clients are you at now? Okay, that's awesome. So, what's the size of your team right now? Hmm. Hmm.
the weeds of it, right? Like, let's take us for example,
Hmm.
right? We're trying to kind of put something together. We're
Yeah.
not sure yet,
Yeah.
but we need to kind of get the word out, right?
Yeah.
So in our last episode, we spoke to Smokey, who kind of spoke to us about SEO and the whole
Yeah.
thing of organic content, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing that we will end up doing to kind of get more eyeballs.
Hmm.
But as Sajan, the performance marketing guy, if you were in charge of this, how would you kind of drive it from a performance marketing point of view? What would you do at this stage when we don't even know what we're doing, and once we know what we're doing, how would you kind of drive it, right?
So for like you're talking about the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Acha.
The podcast is ultimately going to lead to some kind of product that we build,
Got
right?
it. Got it. Two three things, right, which I can think of right away, right? Performance marketing might be too early, right, until you show something to people, right? Where do you bring them from that Facebook page or from that Instagram page, right? Do you have a website? Do you have some content which people can consume, right? Are you growing subscribers, right? We have a brand which
You
is,
talking right now is the content, right?
yeah, I understand, but are you putting, let's say YouTube pay you're putting, right? You might run some campaigns to get views, but those will not be enough, right? If you talk, if you see, one thing you need to be very clear with is objective, right? What is your objective of marketing or doing performance marketing? If that's not clear, performance marketer can't help you. I mean, so if your objective is growing subscribers, then let's do whatever performance marketing it takes to grow subscribers, right? Do run YouTube ads, do some influencer activity wherein you bring in a big influencer guy on your podcast, right, and tell them to give a shout out, right? Um, or you go into more distribution site, right? You have you on your Spotify. That's what they do, right? For a podcast, distribution becomes very important, right? And once you are there on those channels, then you discuss keep, okay, I want to grow subscribers on my website. Am I turning into a newsletter going ahead, right? Wherein I'm digitizing whatever we are talking, right? Like an interview, and putting it out on email for people to read. Uh, then it's growing subscribers. Then it's a separate objective. Then we focus on leveraging paid media to grow subscribers. So if the objective is very like you want to move into consulting, then do you have your consulting page or a like a website ready? Do you want to get more and more people to see your example and like see a 20-minute or a 10-minute interview and just book a consulting call with you guys for any kind of support to startup founders? So that if that objective is clear, I think paid media will help you on that stage, right? But you need
Mm,
to have some assets out there wherein you can send people and make them do something.
got it.
Yeah.
So now trying to kind of get into the configuration side of things, right?
Huh.
So if I today know that I want to talk to founders largely,
Yeah.
right? How would you kind of go about making sure that while we kind of use performance marketing as a tool, reach the right audience?
Got it. If let's say you are looking at, so I have leveraged my like I we have worked a lot on doing B2C than B2B. If you ask
Mm.
me, right, my experience has been that we are able to sell B2C much better than B2B. I haven't cracked B2B much. We are working with some businesses, but I don't think I will be the best people to give it. Like I will be the best guy to give advice on B2B.
No,
But
so
here,
that's just an example, right? It could be anything, right? How do you find the TG? How in as part of the process of
the
performance
channels
marketing?
have the TG, right?
Mhm.
Let's say you go on LinkedIn, right? You know your TG are founders. You just put a identify or job role as a founder, right, or self-employed. You will find thousands of them across India or across US or whatever territory, whatever region you're looking at, right? These channels already have TGs. That's the beauty of paid media is if you know how to target them really well, these all channels have the TG, right? And they have different intent, right? Facebook works on a more push intent, wherein you might not have known about the product, but you might be seeing the product, like you'll be shown the product. Google works more on intent or pull, right? Wherein you search for it and you find it. LinkedIn works more on the B2B front of pushing content in front of you, right? So they all already have the TGs mapped. If you have the TGs very clear, I don't think it would be very difficult for a performance marketer to go ahead and target it, right? Like to give you an example, I think I didn't know if I when we met, right, we talked about a brand we handle since some time, and I think they're doing a fantastic job. So basically they are like they send news over an email in every morning, which I think I talked to you about the signal, right? So we basically our job is to grow subscribers for them, and they are free. Whatever monetization they are doing it with sponsors, right? Who sponsors on the newsletter, like a morning brew in US, right? So what they did was we basically started targeting to grow subscribers. But for them, they just don't want volume of subscribers. They want quality of subscribers, right? Even if you want to reach out, you also want to reach out. I want to reach out to founders, but not everybody. I want to reduce that TG also. Okay, maybe reach out in tier one, tier two founders or something like that, right? So they understood some cohorts which are very important for them. Okay, law students or people who studied law in the past, right? They are a good cohort. Their opening rates are better. They looked at we want a TG which has open rate better. So they understood, and they were able to weed out a lot of audiences which don't fit them, right? Okay, these kind of students don't fit us. These kind of professionals don't fit us, right? So don't target them, even if they come at a very cheap price. So that mapping, actually brand helps us do a lot, right? And we are able to do a good job if brand is gets more and more clearer. Okay, this is what we want, this is what we want, this is what we want.
Got it. Now, you mentioned a couple of very interesting things, right? You spoke about the price and the cost. A large part of this is a very very expensive initiative, right? And
Yeah.
you obviously don't get it right on the first try. So
Yeah.
how do you kind of, what is the thought process or the psychology behind getting to that perfect
Got business, right? Thinking from the business side. When we talk to new brands, a lot of new brands approach us. कभी नहीं किया है, right? Like who have never done performance marketing, and they're like, okay, how much budgets? We ask them, do you have any budgets in mind, right, to start? And a lot of them they are like blank. They're like, we don't have budget, but we don't want to burn, you know, unless they are very clear. Okay, we want to hit this many KPIs. This is the effective burn. We can like this is the concept of stop loss in stock market, right? So this is the stop loss we are ready to bear. Itna funds we are ready to bear, but we need to hit these numbers to start with, and we can bear it till 3 months or 4 months. Uske baad we need to turn that, right? We need to either become sustainable this way or that way, whatever, right? Whatever goals. If they don't know, then I focus a lot sitting down with founders and telling them that if their product looks good, right? One is that I can, because based on my experience, I can see a website, I can tell them, this looks shit, very difficult to sell, I will not take it up, even if you give me money, right? Because what will happen is I will put in my efforts, though I'll get paid, I'll put in my efforts. 3 months I try, you don't get sales, and you move out. You're like, this is not working. So why would I would rather advise you that, hey, fix your funnel up, get your shoot done better. Your products are not looking good. Get your products descriptions better, right? Um, and if this looks little bit better and clean, I feel, then my advice goes to them is, can we get? My idea would be that whatever money I put in your ads, right, to get at least that much break even from the revenue from the you know from your business, right? From your total sales should be like, let's say 60,000 I put in. I would firstly aim towards getting you 60,000 ka sales, so that you get validated. Early 3 months, the business idea is to get validated in front of customers, right? You won't get ROI that easily.
But why do you think the presentation of a website matters in something like this?
Um, Performance marketing basically, like I mean, it would, right? When you are advertising something on Facebook or Google or wherever, actually the product is your website. That's where they land, right? Or an app, whatever, right? That's where they land. Your how the website looks, how the design is, and of course, I mean, the like your LTV or your repeat rates and all will matter once a user buys your product or service and then reuses it or comes back. That's separate. That comes after your product usage. But initially, your website will matter the most, right? Or your app will matter the most, wherein they see the design of the brand or what the brand is known for, what ethos they have, what colors they have, right? Like, do they have some uniformity in what your ad is looking like and what your website is looking like, right? Google actually gives you a score based on that.
You, because you have something like a yellow pages which also generates sales, right?
I mean,
So
I don't know if they do it now, but they used to at one point of time. And Yellow Pages was a physical product. I mean, I don't know how digitally great they were, because I don't have the idea about it, how digitally they made money or they were doing paid media ads for it. And of course there are websites who basically are very poorly designed, but then either they have stood ground over years and have insane amount of information on SEO, which got built and got people on those websites. But if you are consumer focused and you are trying to sell to that retail customers, your website design will matter a lot. Or else
Right.
you focus on SEO, right? I mean, that's a different ball game wherein it will take some months or years to get that kind of traffic which you can get on day one with
Right.
performance. Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to kind of get to the psychology of it, right?
Yeah.
What actually goes into hitting those objectives,
Yeah.
right? The thought process at your end and also the thought process in the customer's mind, right?
Yeah.
And this is a good segue into what you touched upon a little bit earlier, which was around funnels, right?
Yeah.
So funnels are typically something that at least I have encountered from the product side, right?
Yeah.
But how does a performance marketer look at funnels?
I mean, because we work a lot with D2C brands, right? I look at funnel straight up from e-commerce point of view. That's the best way to look at, even if you are building a service business, right? And actually, if you see top service companies who have tried to productize, right? They all have whatever they have designed as per the funnel, even if it's an app or a website, right? Uh, like let's say a view product to add to cart, category, add to cart, initiate checkout, payment info, purchase, right? For a service also, that can be very standard. You can design it like that, right? An inquiry or a booking the slot, inquiry, booking the slot, and booking your timeline. Like let's say if you take Urban Clap, right? Because you have worked in that industry, even if booking a beauty service, right? Um, you tell what kind of service you need. The next step, you move to, these are the timings, these are your area, you put your address, you do the purchase, and you know your service is confirmed. So I look at funnel from that point of view. And even for like, we have a brand which does basically, and we are working with a brand for astrology, right? So they have a funnel slightly different, wherein you give your whatever credentials, your time, date of birth, place of birth, time of birth, and then you ask a question or something on those front, right? Or you recharge, and you can consult an astrologer. So those funnels of course works differently for different businesses, but you need to think of what are you optimizing for, right?
So just to play devil's advocate, back in the day, we used to kind of be the antithesis of these kind of funnels, right? We used to have landing pages, and it's like
Ah,
a one-click checkout, right?
yeah.
So
uh, then we
what
had
is
to
your
do a lot of things manually, right? I mean, at the end also, if you remember, we were trying to productize this, right? We were trying to build everything from a landing page to everything like matching automatically, and everything happening on that app, right? We tried to build it into a website, but those were not that successful. Hence we had landing pages. Actually, landing pages were there because we didn't have that much time to correct our website and get on with it. But I would definitely say landing page is something, if you want to run a pilot, that's the best way to go about it, right? Or if you have a service wherein you just have to book and you consult and your timing is matched, then landing pages are the best. But if you have a service which has a lot of layers, uh, or you can say a lot of SKUs or a lot of things which are different, from your time to different types of services to, or different types of products to addition, subtraction, your address, everything, then of course you will have to put some layer or some funnel over it. It cannot happen through a landing page for sure.
got it?
Yeah.
Now coming back to the psychology, right? So we spoke about how the brand helps you identify the TG.
Yeah.
We spoke about how the your intuitive sense of the creatives and the funnel kind of helps you understand the probability of converting the customer,
Hmm.
right? But what else goes on in the mind of a performance marketer when he has to kind of approach this problem, right? How does he get those numbers that makes it like a successful endeavor?
uh, it's okay. So two things, right? One is expectation setting needs to be very very clear, right? For a brand, uh, at what level they are, right? With, and that additional with that is what the brand is doing to support paid media. What a brand is doing outside your ads, right? Putting money on campaigns is one thing which they do, of course, but expecting that, if we put this much money we will get this much sales anyhow, that is a very wrong rationale, which change, like, which brands are also learning. A lot of big brands and a lot of our brands have learned that, and they are investing a lot in producing content, doing influencer activities, which people, a lot of brands still do, right? Doing out great product launches, getting your discounts out. Even discounts need to be done in a very smarter manner. These all things combined, right, they help amplify, or they help compound your paid media, because we literally see like a PR also, right? We see a uptick on that day if some new activity has happened which is outside our bounds. So if we plan it like that with them, we understand ki, okay, without all these activities we are at X, right? Can, with these two activities, can we reach X plus 2 or X plus 5, right? uh, Based on experience you are able to project that, and that's where the experience comes in play, wherein you have to give a very honest projection based on your numbers and what activities are happening. Ki, hey, we did this much with this much amount. The brand can come to you and they say, let's say we put in 10 lakhs and we got 20 lakh sales last month. How do we reach 40 lakh, or how do we do 30 lakhs this month? How much do you think we will invest? So a non-performance marketer will be like, we put more 5 lakhs and we do 30 lakhs, something like that, like 15 lakh dal ke, 30 lakh, but that may not be the right answer. You won't be able to get in putting more 5 lakhs and you'll get 10 lakhs more, because your ROI also takes a hit when you start increasing some budgets, right? So you, that also needs to be sustainable. So those projections need to go right, understanding what the brand will do from their end, other than putting this 5 lakhs here.
So then how do you approach the projection problem, right? Like before you start working with a brand, you obviously try to get a sense of
For
what
a
is
new
possible.
brand, projections, if it's not launching very big, right? It's a small startup which is just launching, they have some inventory ready. For first 3 months we actually don't, we tell them that, we will give you some projections, but the idea is we first get you to break even on paper, right? That if you're putting 80,000, can we get 80,000 ka sales? In 3 months they understand patterns of buying. What they had thought was their average order value would be completely different once actual sales come, right? We, let's say, projected 80 in 80, but they got, first month they got sales of 2 lakhs. So they have a very different idea now of projections, right? Okay, that's very different for the new launch brand. But if it's a brand which is already, let's say, doing 60 lakhs a month or something, such kind of numbers, right? They have to project for the next 3 months. Then a lot goes in understanding what I told you, right? What they are doing on the website, what new launches are coming. Are they offering, are they going to do a flash sale? That all matters a lot, right? For them, end of season sale, flash sales, whatever consumer plays, or advertising things, which perks which we can do, right? Those all things will matter a lot. And then at the end of the day, then it's still a projection, right? I
Mm.
mean, they might not happen. They might not be true. After, we might be very off from the projected number. The idea is to not be that off. That's it. Like, that's where we need to be very smart about it. Or we
How
need to,
much
yeah.
how much does a performance marketer need to know or understand the market itself?
I think so a lot, actually. Because we worked in different markets, we have some understanding of, let's say, a skincare or a beauty segment, right? Uh, we understand, let's say, a home decor market. We know the buying patterns. So we are again confident of putting those numbers out. Okay, if we put, if you are in this segment, this is what can happen, right? B2B, because it's very tough market and you're selling to literally a business, right? It becomes really difficult and to crack it, right? That's why B2B, performance marketing or B2B is a very different ball game. A beast to crack, if you ask me, right? That's why, like, a lot of people don't do performance marketing for, like, hard machines, right? 60,000 का कोई machine online लेने नहीं जाता है इतना easily. The Indian customer is not that advanced that they will pay 60 or 80,000 for a big ass industrial machine, or a 5 lakh for a machine on a performance marketing. Those deals still happen person to person, right? Or business to business.
Top down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You mentioned something interesting before. You said influencer marketing, right?
yeah.
So I'm kind of very curious about uh, influencer marketing. Is essentially you've got a community that is there which is awaiting that influencer to kind of spread the message, right? But the
Hmm.
influencer himself is trying to build that community, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a multi-layer thing where you
Uh,
are using the brand to kind of use an influencer to improve the brand visibility, but the influencer himself needs to improve his visibility, right?
yeah.
Have you done performance marketing for an influencer?
I no, I haven't actually. We haven't worked with influencer. I have not worked for us brands. I mean, individual brands. We haven't worked much, right? They influencer themselves are a brand, right? After a point, right? Some big influencers. But if you ask me this question of what influencers' intention is or how they are working, the best influencers, they will not recommend products which they don't use or they don't stand for.
Mm.
So though they are building their community, they are, of course, they want to make money as well, right? So brands basically reach out to them so that because of their reach and their face value and lot of followers they have, for brands it's very simple, right, to get their product out in front of their for the influencers community. For influencers, one is they want to make money. Second, uh, second they do this because Vivek, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Second, they do this because I mean, they might find. I mean, they stand for that product, and their users might uh, like the product what they are endorsing for, right? Yeah,
Like for example, in the Web3 space, right, today everybody is just talking about community building, right?
yeah,
That's like almost trying to bypass the influencer by saying that I'll build my own community and then leverage that to spread the word about my product, right?
yeah.
Like, do you see a use case for performance marketing there?
Web3,
Yeah.
it's slightly newer for us, but we did explore or we did talk to a lot of people who are building products in Web3 and stuff, right? There's definitely a use case. If uh, once like for Web3, the major use case what we found out when we talked to a lot of founders in this space, right, and we have talked to some of them, is that they are all moving towards building a community. So they let's say want attendees for an event. They want to get people sign up for a webinar, something on those fronts, right? So those are some of the things which Web3 people are gunning towards, right? I feel the future, if everything goes well with Web3, right, would be, let's say for us, it would be, let's say, literally, the way we buy products on a website, right? We might do advertise to push NFTs, straight up go add to cart NFT and purchase it, right? Uh, so I'm not sure if there are any legality, abically legalities have Facebook, Google Pay to do this, but that will be a major use case if we go ahead, right? Or get people to upload something on or get sign up for a wallet, right? Like
Mm.
opening an equity account, something like that, which a lot of brands do um, performance marketing for. That Kotak or any bank or any equity company is pushing you to open a free trading account or something like that, right? Like a Paytm. Web3 will do the same to upload coins on their wallet, right? To get a get your account up on a new wallet. We might do ads for them. Who knows? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They all are pushing towards building community, right? Because they want a more of awareness. There is awareness, but there's no acceptance yet, right? So many people are still averse to Web3. But they are Web3 founders are have used influencers to build communities as well. If you saw the example of Vault, right? Where
Mm.
Ankur, Variku, and four people recommended Vault very strongly, and Vault went down, right? And now people are blaming influencers there, right? Uh, yeah, so they did use influencers well, plus building community, right? Both of them. Yeah. Yeah.
So when we were talking about the kind of the impact of external factors to performance marketing, influencer marketing was one of those things. What are these
Yeah.
offline things that you can do to kind of boost up the performance of your campaign, right?
Uh, like in easy on easy lines, right? I can straight up say content creation, okay, but that involves a lot of things in it, right? Influencer marketing being one of it. Second would be brand partnerships, going offline across shelves, right? A lot of our brands, they are available across offline stores. The brand recall becomes much higher and higher. So what distribution they are doing, right? So I think there's a problem with his network. Hello,
With whose network?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So what all distribution you are doing, right? Like offline distributions, a lot of are you putting a product out on the shelf, right? These all also marketplaces play a very big role in getting your getting your performance up. If you have a same product available on Amazon, Flipkart, or Snapdeal, or what all different marketplaces, right? That brand recall becomes much much higher. Then the idea is, why will they buy from them, from that platform and not yours, or your own website? Or they will buy from, that compounds or that helps actually people from discovery, their discovery to buying here, right? So
So this
market,
is interesting. Brand recall, right? Like, what are the different ways you can create brand recall?
I mean, that whatever it goes in creating a brand, yeah, Vivek, it's a very extensive umbrella, if you ask me, right? A lot of brands focus these days, or I come from a school wherein I feel brand recall should be first would be building a business and then building a brand, not the other way around, right? A lot of people, a lot of brands who focus and get their name up and push towards building a brand, but they are not able to build a business. It's a failure straight away. So one idea is first to build a business, and then you build a recall depending on how, or what your products are famous for, which ones are really good, which ones you want to push, right? Like one example I wanted to check was, if you heard about that fast checkout story.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was called Fast, right?
Bolt.
Who used to give hoodies.
I mean, I know about Bolt in the US, but I'm sure there are many.
Oh, Bolt. Sorry, it was. I
Yeah.
think it was Bolt or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who used to give hoodies, right? Uh, I mean, their founder used to give a lot of merch before, but they were a checkout company. But on paper, they were not able to build that big a business or that big distribution with a lot of e-commerce companies to get their checkout up, right? Checkout out. They failed. I think so, right? I,
Yeah.
I think we are talking about the same company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were looking at building and talking of building a like they were talking a lot about building a brand and getting that buzzing up on Twitter and everything, right? But that didn't work out for them.
Got it. So then
So
let me kind
I
of
mean,
flip it and ask you this way, right? So if Growth Pep had to come in and have the perfect conditions for executing a performance marketing campaign, what would that look
yeah.
like? What were the checkpoints that you're looking for to say that, okay, this is where I can jump in and add value?
I mean, your digital funnel needs to be right. Okay, that is the primary thing which you see. Second is, have you done any social activity? Have you built some community before you come to do performance marketing, right? If you haven't, then don't expect a very high end profits or 2x 3x revenue, right? You will get some sales, but understand this, right? Imagine you are bombarded by a brand. It's a new brand. You check out that brand, but you go to the website, but you will check out their social activities, Instagram, Facebook, where all they are available, right? If you find some data of them already, if you find some followers, if you find their community, okay, they have some community, your chances of purchasing or trusting that brand becomes better than some brand which is extremely new. There's nothing on it, right? There's nothing social on it, nothing. You will find that as spam, literally. You might not trust them. So building trust, have you already worked upon building trust before you started performance marketing? That's very important, right? That's why brands list across marketplaces, websites, so they build trust, right? Agar मैं website पे आके check करता हूँ, I saw the ad, But on Amazon also I saw the same product. They're like, hey, this product looks legit. They are actually there across, right? They built, so the brand, if I have to go back again and connect, then brand recall would be building trust, right? How much trust you have built. You see that product on the shelf somewhere at a nature's basket, and then you see it on the website. They're like, hey, I've seen them, right? So have you done, so your funnel, digital funnel, how that person sees your brand on a mobile? Is it easy to use? Is it easy to get their book you purchase from you, right? Is it very clear and concise of what your offering is? Very clear and concise. That's one. Second, your digital funnel. And third is, of course, you have already built a community, already built some trust of the brand before it. If these three are in check, right, I think that would be something we can take it up, and we can, like, we can take that sales up, or we can take the sub leads up, or whatever that objective we are looking for, right? Yeah.
Hmm. So this trust thing again goes back to psychology, right? So
Yeah.
what are your like go-to ways of kind of hacking it and creating trust for a early brand, right?
I mean, see, if it's a very early brand, right? You your trust is you need to focus a lot on then your product features and what your product is offering, right? And you need to dial down. You need to be very very clear with what your product offering is. uh, like we faced this issue with one of the brands we just onboarded, right? Very small brand into loungewear. They were offering a separate discount on separate product category. They were offering separate discount on separate product category. Now there's a lot of confusion, right? If a person sees the ad, goes on the website, he tries to apply a website level discount, it doesn't apply to other category. They're like, I want to buy this, but they are saying this is already discounted, that code doesn't apply to this. I want to buy that, and they are saying ये code इस पे apply होता है और ये discounted नहीं है. Straight up confusion, right? uh, the person will drop out. They are like कि ये गड़बड़ है, I don't want to buy it from here, right? It needs to be very, like, it needs to be very clear on what your offering is, right? On
Clear
your website.
communication.
The communication needs to be very, so your product features, your communication, and your funnel, these things will help you build trust if you don't have any social backing. So social backing as in you don't have any buzz going on across community. Nobody's talking about you. You're very new. You're not across marketplaces. You're not offline. Nobody's talking about you. You don't have any testimonials. If these things are not there, then the thing which I mentioned to build trust needs to be there, right? Your product features, your clear communication, those need to be right there to get you
The
early
the
customers.
testimonial bit is interesting. So are
Yeah.
you saying that it's easier to build trust offline than online in the initial days at least?
Offline than online?
Yeah.
Um, Not sure actually.
Like I could go physically to some place and I could kind of create trust and visibility of my brand with say 100 people, right?
Yeah.
And then use that as a platform to get started online and reach out to say 1,000 people, whereas the opposite might be very difficult in online, right? Like to
Um,
start from zero on online and get to 100 and then probably like go offline and try to grow
if
to
you ask
1,000, right?
me, now getting online use 100 users would be fast than offline 100.
From 0 to 100.
0 to 100 for sure. I Offline would be much much difficult. There's a lot of clutter, and you need to hit a bullseye to get that, online, like offline customer, literally, right? Take any category. If you're into clothing, right, first of all, the getting into offline is more expensive than getting into online. And if you are very very new, you don't want to bear such high cost, right, to just to get your brand known. Online is extremely cheap to get your brand known. You can literally work with 15 influencers for barter and get your brand known.
But
And
then you
that
have the trust hurdle in online, right? You with offline, the person is literally standing in front of you.
he's there, but that the trust factor will still be there, even if he feels it, because it's a new product. There's no one to market that product. Trust for a new brand has special will have these the same three things which you want to market for, right? It's the same. It stands the same. You need those three things even in offline, right? Online actually, because it becomes easier for a person to be there on mobile checking it out and may want to try it out, right? It solves convenience at least than offline. So online has actually a edge if you want to get to the first 100 customers. I don't see any brand or anyone going offline first and then coming online. The early traditional businesses, they didn't have that much options, right? But they also started turning online because getting that customer up, they don't want to lose that online customer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And something you mentioned really interested me. The conversion part, right?
Yeah.
So if you are trying to drive early sales, how critical is it to have something like a cash on delivery option?
uh,
Do you see that the conversions are better when you have cash
yeah,
on delivery as an option in the early
extremely
days?
critical, right? But I have known some really good brands, right, who I've worked with. They chose not to be COD. You need to have very strong belief in your product. Ki, I don't want customers who want COD, and they stood ground from day one. Or maybe they tested and did a pilot in the initial 10, like in a month, and they got to know, no, these COD customers are not good, and they're like,
Hmm.
it's okay if we require, if our CAC is really high, if our acquiring cost is really high for a customer who pays, who's a prepaid, right? um, let's stick to prepaid. We don't want COD. But if you ask me, the volume, the brands who are playing a very high volume game, I don't know many brands who don't have COD and they are doing extremely high volumes, right? You need to have COD, at least if you want to reach to like million customers, right? Literally. Or you get to, like, say, a monthly 1 CR of sales or 2 CR of sales. You need COD option there.
Got it. When we spoke to Smokey in the last episode, he spoke to us about the negative effects of something like SEO, right? Like
Yeah,
if you use dark patterns, how it'll screw up your SEO.
yeah.
Are there dark patterns which are there in performance marketing which will kind of make it difficult for any brand which is trying to grow a business? Can things
Um,
backfire in some way?
um, I mean, backfire as in you don't understand the market size. That's something which backfires a lot to us, actually. uh, you know, market size as in, let's say you have a customer who you think is a 30-year-old, this thing, and you focus on, let's say you tell me that I want to target only like Mumbai and Bangalore, only two cities, right? Now Mumbai, Bangalore, or you are only Bangalore only, you're selling Bangalore only, right? When we were discussing, I think PK told me about the brand FOMO cookies, right? So they launch in Bangalore, right? Like marketing, or even I talk to, let's say, 2 3 brands who only market in Bangalore, right? Or in a particular specific. Now they want to do an X amount of sales, but they are very region bounded. We only sell in this territory, right? The territory is very small, even if it's digital. But brands don't understand that, and they expect a sales, and they're like, okay, can we put this much budgets? What ends up happening is we burn a lot. And I mean, that's something we try to avoid, and we have done those mistakes, right? Wherein we have not understood how big is the segment. We have told them, or we've also blinded by the segment key, how many customers are actually there in the region, how many users are there, customer to dur ki baat hai, right? And then you market and you say, okay, we have literally 1 lakh 2 lakh people whom we are marketing, and we are expecting these many numbers.
So doing
Very
hyperlocal is a challenge using
is a big
performance
challenge.
marketing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For performance, it is hyperlocal is always a challenge. Yeah.
Hmm.
Unless you are selling something which is extremely unique, right? I've known a brand, let's say this, they do some refined processed oil from groundnuts, right? It was so unique that they actually sell it to 4 5 cities only. But then they are literally the only ones, or like one among the two, right? So if the users see it from their cities, they buy it out. But they will also hit a roadblock until they go all India, right? That's one of the dark patterns. Second, like, I mean, that's one thing, right? Secondly, there have been cases wherein, if the websites are not good, or if the product is very difficult, right? Or if you're in a market which is extremely competitive, like, to give you an example, um, let's say you sell mattresses, right? Now so many brands are selling mattresses, and they talk about science about the mattress, right? The foam, which all matters a lot, which people used to ignore initially, but ab ignore nahi karte, because people who are like, okay, I don't want back pain, right? I don't want those problems. So, and people have the investing power of putting, let's say, 20,000 on a mattress. They're like, this is very important buy for me, I will put it, I will buy it out. Now in this category, if you launch a brand, you are need literally competing against these big ones, right? Like those Sleepy Cat, and I think, I don't know many, but there are few which are giants, and they do great business, right? um, we also work with a brand in this business, and we actually failed in that. whatever we were trying to sell, right, it just didn't work because there were better options. The competitor had better options. The competitor had much better looking website, much better product, right? So these are some of the patterns which we didn't know before we tested, right? We got to know after we failed, literally. So
Hmm.
again, the market matters a lot for them.
How often does it happen that you are kind of targeting the wrong person? So for example, you were talking to us about the success of Nika and female audience
Yeah.
in terms of conversion, right? What does it happen that you're talking to the wrong audience and then you don't end up making the sale?
Oh yeah. I mean, this happens day to day, right? Optimizing for right audience is actually our job. We
So
need
like for example, if you want to sell a kid's product, do you advertise to the child or do you advertise to the parent, right? Like
of course not to a child, right? We do advertise to parents, right? But what happens is the real question to ask here is, are you advertising only to parents? So that's not true, because Facebook, Google, or these channels, right, they do identify an audience which where there is an audience who says I'm a parent on Facebook, right? And we target them, but it's a very small set. How many people actually go and put their status as a parent on Facebook, right, or on Instagram? So how do you find the unknowns who are not mapped? Then you have to go broad and understand, okay, performance marketing, I look at an angle is how I can weed out what is not working rather
mm.
than to find out what is working.
So you
That's
start
the
with the
idea.
larger set and then you keep optimizing.
Yeah, we keep optimizing to get to a if the larger set works, great, it works for a lot of brands, right? But a lot of time the idea is to remove and keep reducing, keep like we found out for a brand, they get a lot of COD orders from Bihar and UP, which are all spam. People are just abusing on the order and they all get cancelled. So the idea is to straight up exclude them across the campaigns, right? So it's we I would not go from the approach of ki, brands always have a targeting set ki we think this is our customer, but they are not very, they don't know till we test it out. So for testing we actually take all as customers, unless you are selling like a lingerie, then we don't want to market to men because that's upfront, right? That the
Yeah, but
idea
if
is
I apply human psychology, maybe the guy
like,
wants to buy someone
you
attractive
can
lingerie,
you
right?
can run a small budget or you can run some experiment for a gifting purpose and everything, but your larger set, your 95% of the set is women, right?
Hmm.
You want to get or you want to hit the bullseye more than the psychology part. Okay, can we advertise them because they will end up buying or gifting them, they're
Hmm.
the actual users, right? So that 10% can apply to what you are saying, right? I might put 10% in it, but 90% needs to be right.
And how many of these cyclical things, influence the outcome, right? For example, the Diwali sale
it
or
They do a
Valentine's
lot.
Day.
They do a lot, right? We have brands wherein, let's say, a bigger brand doing a bigger sale impacts all the e-commerce small sellers, right, at that time, because the budgets, the way they are putting in, right, it's a online auction model, right? Literally your majority of the customers or the highest customers on these across all platforms are 25 to 40 men across, and most of the 95% of the brands are advertising them, unless you have a very different product which you're advertising to 20-year-old or 18-year-old. Everyone is advertising to that 25 to 35-year-old person, men or women, right? That those are the highest buyers, those are the actual buyers, major buyers, right? There are buyers who are 45, 50 plus as well, but these are this is the out, these are the main, in the between, the rest are all outliers, I feel, right? uh, when a Nika or when a Mintra is doing a end of season sale, they are putting heavy budgets in it, right? For the same market, your market is Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, the same major cities, right? And your brands are advertising across those cities, so your whole performance impacts, right? Your CPMs go high, your CACs go high, your cost per clicks go high. You straight up see the impact.
Hmm. So I want to kind of get into the virality thing from a configuration point of view.
Okay.
So you largely said that the creatives are what will kind of give you that referral virality, people talking about it. But are there some opportunities in just smart configuration which will kind of give you an outsized return? Like for example, if you're bidding on some keywords which nobody is kind of bidding on, and those will
Got it.
kind of give
Got it.
you.
Yeah, of course there are some, like there are some hacks or there are some small things which brands do, and we did as well, and we keep doing as well, right? which helps a lot in like there was something called there's something called dark posting on Facebook, right? What it does is, let's say you put in you run an ad, okay, as an engagement, which basically gives you maximum reach. That ad's objective is to just reach to more people on Instagram, and it gets you very like a lot of likes and comments. A lot of people might not click on it and visit the website, but that ad, if you see it from outside, looks like a very highly engaged ad, which has gone like kind of viral, where it says 500 likes, 1,000 likes, and a lot of comments. You can take that ad ID and you can use it in actual conversion campaigns,
How
which
does that
wherein
work?
you
Can you explain that?
so basically on the platform, right, every ad has an ID.
Mm-hmm.
So you create this ad, you run it, and you run it as an different objective of engagement and views. After 2-3 days, once it has collected that many likes or views, right, you take the same ad ID and you run a proper like a sales campaign, right, wherein
Mm.
you want to basically drive sales from it, and you put that idea, and you actually use the same ad. The ad's body and the ad's root is the same. It's not a different ad,
Mm.
right? That ad will collect impressions from this campaign also, and that campaign which is already giving you views, right? Now for a conversion campaign which objective is to get you sales, so Facebook basically is very clear in its direction, right? If you're optimizing for conversion, it will show to people who are most likely to convert, not view. So when it comes in front of Vivek, who is most likely to buy such kind of products, he will trust this ad more than an ad going on which has no likes or nothing, because this already has that what do you call,
Mm.
social proof, right?
Mm.
So social proof is already built, so trust built ho gaya hai. He clicks on it and he'll go ahead and purchase.
Got it.
These are some of these strategies which already brands do, right? So you see a lot of likes and ad. It's not that they are doing it since some time. It might be that they are running a separate campaign which has got likes, and then they took the same idea. So this activity is called dark posting and stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Again, it's not a very solid this thing it will work, right? It depends a lot on your product, your optimizing, your targeting and stuff.
I had heard somewhere that all these marketing strategies, by the time you read them, they're already outdated, right?
Yeah, for sure. I told you, right? Facebook, Google, they are moving towards automation. Real creative game. I know some of the brands who actually spent, or startups in US and stuff, who actually have literally two campaigns going on. One top of the funnel and one bottom. That's it. That's it, right? They don't want to. Top of the funnel is literally open and broad. They are like, they put 5 creatives and they are trusting Facebook to reach out to the audience already based on the creative and where it's getting purchased, because Facebook has a pixel, right? So that pixel also learns which kind of audience is buying their product. So they know that in the pixel, if 20 purchases are recorded in a day, what are the demographics of these 20 people? The Facebook ad will automatically show to more of those 20. If you're open, if you have not gamed it, if you have put an interest and stuff, it will show among those interest only, right? So the actual, they are, these platforms, and already all platforms are moving towards automation. They are like, you play on creativity and on your ad more than your targeting and on these hacks, right? Those will not work.
Mm. This is
Or
a
your
great segue into privacy, right? So a
yeah,
lot of the initiatives today is about preventing people from being bombarded by ads and
yeah,
marketers being able to reach customers and disturb them in some sense, right?
yeah,
So how do you kind of see yourself in this battle, which I'm at least seeing you kind of lose, right? Because they're kind of disabling push notifications for mobile engagement.
yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah,
not sharing information which you would otherwise get access to, let's say for on the iOS platform.
yeah.
How do you see the role of a performance marketer evolve with these
uh,
changes?
I mean, the thing is, the platforms have tightened, and earlier it was easy to make money out of customers. Now that making money is difficult, your costs are extremely high. Facebook pulling off an iOS 14 update, right, which you talked about, where you can opt out of ads. That was a very big push last year, right? 2021. Your every e-commerce marketer, e-commerce businesses took a hit because they are the most heavy on Facebook and Instagram, right? And above iOS 14 audience was a very premium rich audience, which was purchasing literally all products, right? And this actually, we saw an impact from our end, but the thing is, there are still not many platforms which replaces Facebook and Google yet. So even if it's expensive, there are many digital first companies coming now. Post pandemic, lot of traditional companies are moving to digital. So there are a lot of there are a lot of brands coming in digital, but they all are gunning for that same customer. Actually, for lesser customers, because a lot of customers, let's say, opt out of these, right? Have ad blockers, have privacy, this thing. So yeah, I mean, those issues are definitely there, and it is a tough job for a performance marketer, because if Google, Facebook move into more of automation, right, our job becomes more and more difficult, or maybe redundant. You can say that. Then the job becomes of what, like, we being consulting, or we being experienced on giving them right direction, how you want to move, right?
So if you're suggesting that you're kind of ring fenced by these channels, what do you do to break out of that, right? Like, what are your options?
This question was always there when we were running. We were there in local way as well, right? Like, what are the options? Why are we so dependent on that? I mean, yeah, you create a brand out of it after a point, right? Like, let's say I give you an example of Blue Tokai, right? Now that is a well-known brand, because they have like close to 50, 80 cafes. I don't know how many, but cafes across India, right? Even if they stop performance marketing, I'm sure they will get some sales, but it won't be that good, that enough. But you won't. Then you move offline, right? You need to have some distribution channel. Online, you want to own distribution, you either own on marketplaces, or you own through Facebook, Google ads. Like, these are the two chunks, right? So then
But
you
what
go.
about platforms like email and SMS? You don't
Those
consider
are there,
them?
but those all are active for your current customers. That is a limited pool, right? Your idea is to basically get more and more customers, right? You don't you make profits out of your bottom of the funnel or repeats, but you want to build a business and scale, then you have to get that top of the funnel, right, which is the new customers.
So from WhatsApp to email, SMS, everything is not a tool for a performance marketer.
No, it basically helps you get more. Basically, it helps you get more middle and bottom, and get more business, right, from your current churning. Basically, supporting and giving more touch points to a current customer, actually, right? WhatsApp is helping a lot, right? But I don't know yet that you can straight up advertise on WhatsApp and just be WhatsApp as a channel. That's not the scale. It can't replace Facebook yet when it comes to that kind of a scale, right? For a new customer, I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
So then this is a good segue into tools, right? Like, what are the tools of a performance marketer? You've got these channels to work with. You've got you said Facebook, Google, and then you've got the marketplaces. You've got these engagement channels with SMS, email, WhatsApp, etc.,
Yeah.
Telegram. But what are the other tools that a performance
Your
marketer
major
owns?
channel, because you are focusing and working with digital first companies, right, or digital companies, right? Your GA, right, Google Analytics. That is mostly the channel which basically we look into to see the product performance, compare charts, understand the acquisition, right? Then your um, GA, of course, it basically solves 50 to 60% of your literally all problems which are outside your control. You don't know from your dashboards, right? From a more, or from the website level front, or your asset level front. If it's an app, if asset in this case is website or an app, right? So your GA basically gives you those answers when it comes to location, conversion, percentage, which channel is giving you more conversion, right? How many sessions are bouncing, how many sessions are active, whatever. Mm. What is your add to cart rate? What is your cart to checkout rate? Whatever, right? But then sometimes we also look into those tools which gives you heat maps, right? I mean, about those tools, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hotstar and stuff, wherein you just check where the users are going on the website, what are they doing, right? Where is the drop? Some of the brands also use different landing pages. I don't know what tools they use, but let's say color of the landing page also they change for some
A/B testing
A/B
platforms.
testing kind of platform, like those Wingify and stuff, right? These tools help. Nowadays, a lot of marketing automation tools are helping. WhatsApp is helping a lot, right? A lot of our great brands have WhatsApp integrated for their abundant cart and everything, right? Abundant cart, as in, you, let's say, add to cart and you leave.
Hmm.
You put your email ID, you put your phone number, you put your address, you reach payment and you leave, right? You will get a WhatsApp. Hey, you added to cart and you didn't buy, which you received an email. Now you get WhatsApp also. WhatsApp becomes more personalized, right? For new launches, shout out, WhatsApp helps a lot. So a lot of these marketing automation platform gives you integrations of WhatsApp, email, SMS at one go, right? Web Engage does a lot, right, in these front, and Web Engage, then similar lines, right? Yeah. for an app, the attribution platforms help. But I think for an app, it's still a black box. It's website. It's more accurate than an app, because I have always seen these attribution platforms having a leakage in in the numbers what GA does or what that attribution platform does, right?
You're talking about platforms like CleverTap, etc.
Yeah. They always have some kind of a leakage, right? Like Localytics and these, I forgot the name,
Mm.
these attribution app attribution platforms, right? uh, I mean, a lot, the next lot is left to learn on those fronts, is what I can say. GA is something which people have learned a lot, but attribution, yet on the app attribution there's still a lot to learn, right? Yeah. These
Got
are
it.
some of the platforms. Then there are some of the platforms which give you better dashboards for reporting and stuff, like Data Studio, where you can create custom dashboards. There are tools like Triple Whale and brands who basically gives uh, brands one more layer over their pixel. They have their own pixel, and they say, even if your dashboard records on this interest that you have got no sales, from our dashboard it shows a sale, so you keep this running. So they give you more decision making power with their better technology over Facebook ka layer or over Google ka layer, right? Then there are really good we are actually, there are startups who are working in this space. I used one of them, like a Sri Lankan based company. What they do is, I think we talked about when we sat down, right? Basically, from the Google Analytics, it gives, based on your purchase patterns of your customers, they give you what kind of interest you can target on Facebook, right? And that interest may be very weird, but they feel that has your customer.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, as a person who's kind of always in this digital space and looking at products and the funnels and all of that, right? Uh, what is your sense of the whole SaaS industry, and what are the kind of SaaS solutions in your wish list, right?
Yeah. Wishlist, mostly, I mean, one kind of a tool which I always wanted, and I was talking to some of them, right? And I've never found out like a slightly cheaper tool, right? Like, you've seen Zapier, right? Which basically connects to different applications and makes them move smoothly, right? So something like that, for which comes automatically on Slack, right? Like, let's say I get campaign level insights, or I get product, let's say these are my 18 brands, right? I get their last day performance snapshot automatically mapped to my Slack, right? So a lot of brands are solving for it. They are doing it. Like, that's one of the things which I would love to have. Second, having a custom dashboard and offering to clients. A lot of agencies are again there in that space, which they offer their own dashboard, right? But I want to build an internal dashboard which helps us make decisions as well, right? Which is slightly cleaner than Facebook and Google. Okay, these three ad sets actually over last 2 days impacted the most, and they come in red. We can pause those, right? So these are some of the smart level decisions which, if you have an internal dashboard, we use it for our clients only, right? For the team. These are some of the things which are on top of my mind. Then there are more, of course, but yeah.
And as a founder running a business, right? Like, do you have a wish list from that perspective as to something that today you're struggling with? It could be an offline manual service. It could be something that you're struggling with, that you think, it would be great if I just had a website that could do this, or a app that could do this.
uh, I mm, I haven't articulated that yet. I mean, exact thing, right? There are many people problems which I'm trying to solve. uh, Again, let's say marketing, lead generation, these are all straight up basic things where an app won't be able to solve, right? You need to get out there, you need to get your name out there and get more businesses in, right? um Secondly, of course, there's one thing which, like, building an internal, like, there's no solid process yet of how to do performance marketing right. Whoever you talk to have a different insight on it. So if it had a kind of a playbook which we could go by, and if we could develop it over time, that would help a lot. But that's something which I don't think an external person will help. Again, we have to do that, right? So yeah, I mean, those are some of the things which I feel, but challenging wise, I'm not sure if I have anything which I can, put through in words at least. Okay, this is the exact challenge.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I mean, contracts as in simple, right? Like I basically they are all full time. Okay. Yeah, of course. Employee as in there's an offer letter and there's a things in place, right? That you abide by these, right? Um, they are not yet. No template. I template and then I customize as per what I think should be there. Yeah. Uh, mm, why would I don't think so because if I want to legally get it done, I might just consult a lawyer. Mm, Uh, I still don't think it's a big enough problem for me yet. But I feel if I start hiring people in dozens, it would be something which I would definitely do. It's not a need for me now, but it would be definitely a need for me in future. Is what I can tell you. Yeah, like company for me more than employee contracts, client contracts matter a lot, right? All kind of contracts, right? So until now, I have not been in a position to exercise it that much. Contracts I would be focusing a lot if I felt कि यार ये तो डालना था इसका ही तो प्रॉब्लम हो गया राइट वो तो डालने के बाद भी लोग करते हैं इवन इफ आई ट्राई टू एक्सरसाइज it's not that the quantum of the problem is that huge I feel as of now, right? But I feel that's something which we will have to do it eventually. Yeah.
Cool.
No, that's a great idea. Hmm. Vivek has very strong pointers of getting convinced. Either he's straight up convinced or he's like, "Nahi, nahi, you give me more logic, give me more ideas to it, give me more ideas to it." Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
So
hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. So, got it. Think, yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. So, think from a customer's point of view, yeah, directly, right? Uh, SEO performance, these all can go hand in hand. They are not first step, second step actually. uh, they all work parallelly. See, SEO is a very long term game. You need to start doing from day one to keep doing on day 20 to keep doing on day 100 as well, right? Depending on if your priority, right? That what you are doing SEO for. Because if paid media goes off one day for you suddenly, you will lose any kind of momentum because that was a temporary momentum which paid media brings, right? You will get some sales, but SEO will give you more permanent people or permanent growth, which you'll keep happening if you do it right in a right manner, right? Um, when I think of funnels, I think of one is website funnel and think of consumer funnels as well. Two sides, right? Websites is how websites are operating, how you are taking that person from page one to page two to page three to the actual objective, right? Or the steps. Uh, From the customer funnel point of view, you think of top, middle, bottom, right? Like top is actually the new customers, middle is little bit of warm. Sorry, the like top will be the cold customers, middle will be warm, and the like the bottom would be actually the most hot customers, right? Who either are your customers and you are reselling them, or they have actually showed an intent to buy. You just have to show them the right product now. Okay, okay, hey, you have showed an intent to buy, you added to cart. Your channels show them, na? If you are doing performance marketing already, you will know from the campaigns that you have got 20 add to carts today. Uh, Now you know, in a week you have collected every day 20 add to carts. 7 days, 140 add to carts you have got, and you got only, let's say, four people buying out of 140 add to carts. So your 136 people, where are they, right? Let's market them. So you create an audience and you market a separate kind of an ad to them. Ki, hey, you added to cart, but you didn't purchase. You might get some people. You do this one activity which is bound to performance, but then you do two, three other things like sending them an SMS, sending them a WhatsApp. If you everything is automated, right? Your automation kicks in then. If you have added to cart but didn't purchase in 12 hours, send them this WhatsApp, right? So if you have those funnels set up, they will get first reminder, second reminder, they'll get an ad. So you're bombarding them across. And then if they don't buy, it was not your customer, right? They were just fooling around.
You use a very interesting word, bombarding, right?
Hmm.
So at what point are you in control of you know uh, the spam value of your brand, right? Like at what point does it go out of control? Like, do you have visibility about how the end user is experiencing all of these campaigns and messaging and
Little bit,
communication?
uh, 50% there, 50% not, right? 50% there because we can measure from the ad front. We can see the frequency of an ad, right? Uh,
Can you look at, like, for example, you can pick out one customer and see what kind of messaging this guy has been getting?
no, no, we can't.
So you don't really have a perspective of.
No, from individual perspective, we don't have. We have a perspective from the creative level, from the ad level. This ad has been running. Let's say it has spent 20,000 rupees, and it was supposed to, the other ad at the same amount has given you this much sales. This ad has not given you sales, so you know this ad is definitely not working. Secondly, you see this ad ka frequency is shown 3. So frequency of 1 is everybody in your audience what you are targeting has seen it once. Frequency of 2 is twice. Everybody has seen it twice. 3 is thrice. 4, 5. So you know, even like the frequency is increasing, but you are not getting sales. So you know that these customers have already seen this ad and they are not buying, right? At a frequency of 6 or 3, you need to either change the ad or rework your audience. These perspectives we get, but individual perspective for sure not, because we get to know from users that they are seeing these kind of an ad repeatedly.
So a
And then,
poorly organized, performance marketing unit will kind of end up spamming the customer, right? Because you've got so many campaigns running. These are all like coroutines running in
yeah,
ether, right?
yeah,
So a customer could just be bombarded with a lot of stuff
yeah,
and get put off also.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you need, that's why you need to play and you need to be creatively very relevant, right? You cannot be, you cannot be hacky. You cannot be hacky, right? In creatives, you cannot be hacky. If your creative is top notch, even if you're bombarded, that customer will be like, hey, I'm seeing this interesting ad since some time. Maybe I don't like the product, but I really like the brand, what they are doing with that,
Mm.
right? Yeah, yeah, they might follow you. They might talk about you though, to someone, but they might not be your purchasers. Yeah.
And do you have a lot of data ops, or you only get aggregated data? You don't work with raw data, or is that part of your job? Like you look at some raw data and you have to try and
Actually,
analyze.
that's something I didn't. Glad it came out, right. That's an edge I would like to have, or that's the challenge I have, right. Yet, I though I run a performance marketing agency, I don't think I'm really heavy on data, which I should be, right. If somebody comes and looks at that data and makes a layer above it and says, these are the patterns I found out, Sajan, which could be helpful, right. That's also actually a really kick-ass stuff to look at, right. I don't know how that will help, but performance marketing actually moves from the data front. So we do look at a lot of data, but not very constructively. Not
But do you
every
have access to the data itself? Is the
we
question.
do we have access to customer data, no? Of 95% of our clients, we do have access to our customers data. We also use those customer data to make lookalikes and projections, right? I think I talked to you about how to create lookalikes and stuff, right? I don't know if we did, but Facebook and Google, and they give options of taking a raw set, adding that to the channel, and projecting a bigger set based on the demographics of that raw set on a
Hmm.
national level, country level, right? So we do have that kind of a data to create those projections.
But you don't have the skill sets or the tools to work with that data.
Data is in to basically do number crunching and data crunching to understand and find patterns from it. Not much.
Hmm.
We do understand patterns from GA. Google Analytics already does website level data patterns, right? That these cities are converting really well.
Hmm.
These suddenly you see a high spike across a product, right? So you go back and check why this product sold yesterday more suddenly, right? And it was never a best selling product. So you know something you did, or something the brand did, or something an influencer did, right, which led to a spike. So those kind of things, patterns, we are able to find out. But I feel there's a lot of things you can do with so much purchases coming in day out, right?
Hmm.
There are some platforms, there are some apps or Shopify apps, or those e-commerce apps which help you crunch that and take that data up, right? Let's say there are apps which basically give you your top your like they will help you download straight up your 10% of top loyal buyers. Then they will give you the bottom 10% who have not bought in 6 months from you. So you can again take that data up, and then it's up to you how you create a lookalike, how you use them. Do you retarget them? Do you show them a new ad? So there are things which
So
go.
basically segmentation.
Segmentation, yeah, they do it, yeah.
And what would you prefer? Would you prefer having say a Python data engineer at your office, or would you prefer having a tool which would do this for you?
Mm, it depends on what's cheaper. I don't know
Hmm.
actually. I actually don't know yet. There are apps already solving for segments, right? Which I've seen through. A Python data engineer would be needed if I don't know if it solves problem. How big is the problem that needs solving, right? That I would need an engineer to solve. I mean, a Python engineer to solve it day in day out.
So let me phrase it this way: what is the kind of competitive edge that you foresee by having this capability?
I mean, the competitive edge would be that that engineer straight up builds an app and gives your business, basically your clients, and tells them, you use our service, but we'll show you a proper dashboard to show you patterns over it. And then of course those patterns, when tried and tested in your campaign or whatever, it works really well. That's an edge which you will have
Actionable segments.
actionable segments, right, which work really well, which actually put in action, 75 to 80% they go right. Then okay, that engineer is doing a kick-ass job in basically presenting that whatever that tool, right? Then that Python, that engineer's job would be to handle the back end and make sure that tool works really well, right? And you have a salesperson who goes ahead and sells it, right? Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Nice. So what does the future look like for you? Like, you've been 4 years with running this business.
Yeah.
What do you
And
see the trajectory? What do you want to see yourself doing in the future?
mm, uh, I mean, actually it would future would be moving more and understanding more above the performance part, right? And consulting brands above that, becoming like that subset of that brand, like their marketing guy, right? They don't want to hire a performance market senior 10 years performance marketer, because it's very difficult to find and pay them, right? You become an extension to a marketing manager to them. But start thinking on the lines of not performance marketing, but a whole marketing piece, online marketing piece, but whole, let's say, marketing piece. Because performance marketing is just one part of it, right? How to structure your influencer campaigns, how to structure, how to do a flash sale. So basically, how to do that plus execute. So if I consult, if I know the consulting part of it, when I'm able to handle and help the brand out, plus execution, which we already do, I think that would be a, like a killer combination in itself, right? And then help, also, like one more thing which I thought was helping brands set up performance marketing teams, right? Which is actually खुद के धंधे पे लात मारना. But some brands, if they are very clear कि they want to set up teams or they want to set up 2 3 people for performance marketing, why not go and help them? Why not find them, scout people? Hmm. Yeah, you overlook with them, but 8 months you train, yeah, and you move out. That's a good idea, right? Anyways, they will move you out, right? Anyways, after 6 to 9 months, you stick to the brand if they think they don't want to go out scouting any other agency, because they still have to do that knowledge sharing and everything. So the next big option is they want to hire someone. Whom will they look up to hiring? They're like, we don't have the expertise to judge that person. You're like, why don't we, like you guys, why don't you do it? Or they have a consultant who does it for them, right? Already. Yeah.
But how do you see yourself in this whole evolving regulatory landscape with GDPR and the technology landscape with AR, VR, and now people are talking about metaverse
I
and
mean, the channels will, there will be new channels which will come, right? But the idea of doing paid marketing, the distribution will still remain, right? There'll be new distribution channels. But if, let's say, Facebook closes down one day, right? How will the brand market? What's the next channel? Would it be metaverse? Would it be VR? And we'll get trained for it and we'll do it if we are still doing it, right? I have been doing paid media from 2014. A lot have changed, right? That time Instagram was not doing that many ads the way they are doing. Real new placements come in, right? A lot of Facebook has become that redundant that Facebook ads don't work. The placement of Facebook doesn't work that well than Instagram, right? Your Google didn't have that many campaigns the way 2014 had, right? So lots of things have changed already, but the channels have not moved out yet. The forms will change, but performance marketing is will remain, right? Some other channel will come in place. Metaverse है तो metaverse का कोई channel होगा ना. Sure. Hmm. Yeah. No, I don't think so. I would be. Uh, I think. Yeah. 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 See, before internet, I can't speak about. Since digital 2000 boom, when websites came in, right? What actual performance marketers were doing, I mean, they were. I would strike partnerships with websites and tell them, I want to put the brand banner here, right? Once I would talk to, let's say, I would talk to Yahoo. Hey, on the jobs page or on an autos page, I have a website which sells repairs. Can you? How much? I want to put the banner there, right? Can you get it there? How much would the cost be? He will say, $2,000 a month. I would tell the brand, I think this. Now then, the objective or the skill would be for me would be to find that good placement in the website for them, right? So that's what I would be doing, and I would sell them for $3,000, right? $1,000 something I learn. I mean, that would be the idea. That is one thing which I would definitely be doing, or building landing pages. That's something I did in local OA, and I think I could have done that time also, right? There are 5 websites. I'll build a one landing page for you for these 20. Yeah. 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 Mm.
I think what he's trying to ask is, can you productize your service, right?
Mm. Mm. No, no. It's something uh, that yeah, I mean that's a great thought, but that's a very very far fetched and uh, very big thing. Or yeah, yeah. Oh, you are saying you create a got it. Yeah. So you're saying we build a got it. You're saying we build a aggregator platform for our brands only. Huh. Yeah.
Basically, build your own community in a sense. And basically saying start cred.
No, 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 no. I I understood what I understood what you said. Yeah, got it. That's literally like becoming like a for sure. Yeah. So what what you have said, right, is literally, starting a blog and doing affiliate, right? Like, yeah, I mean that's what it is. I mean that idea also is there in my head, literally, right? I've thought about it a lot. Okay, that I'll talk about D2C, I'll talk about these brands and everything, and more consumer focused businesses and consumer psychology, and have a blog on that front, and maybe monetize that blog, right? Uh, Sign up with an affiliate, Amazon as an affiliate, Google gives AdSense, right? You can just from the and you talk to business and you're like, okay, put it here, right? I'm getting these kind of an audience. Huh. So this is where thing changes, right? You cannot, because we are work with so many industries, right? You need to focus on one industry only. You cannot go industry, you cannot go all industries, right? You will have some kind of demographics. Yeah, you will have some demographics, right? You will get, if I'm very clear, right, that I want to be known for skincare, or I know I want skincare brands coming in and paying me, then I will talk about skincare. I am not that clear yet, right? I can talk a lot about marketing yet, overall, broadly. Yeah, it's quite diverse. Yeah, so that can be a problem as well, because a lot of times people stick to one category and crack that we do marketing for real estate. Yeah, I have worked more on, I as a person I've worked a lot on what things came my way, and then just rejecting what I don't want to getting to what I want, right? I mean, that's what I've tried to do. Sometimes it works, but it has worked till now, right? And I have to, but the outbound thing is something which I have now, after 4 years, I've started seriously thinking about, right? How do I do more outbound? How do I attract users? But I also push and do some effort for it, right? Maybe I run ads, or maybe I put in write articles or do more PR, right? That those thoughts are like now are cementing, and we are doing things on those fronts actually for our
Let
business.
me ask you this, right? Your entire business is kind of geofenced with India, right?
Yeah.
What is the gating factor for you to provide your services abroad? Is there a cultural understanding that is required?
No, it's just that I actually have worked with international companies, right? It's not that we have here and then we get leads, right? We don't have a channel to get to them. How do we get to them, right? How do other companies get to them? They either run ads in
Hmm.
US, right? Or they are working with, they get one, they have a partner there whom they work with, and they get their brand name known, and then they go out, right? Or you market heavily, they launch info products for, and people buy from US, and then they sell the services. There are many things to go about it. We are also thinking on those fronts, but there's, it's just that we have not given a serious thought and cracked it from our end, or put in effort.
But do you foresee a challenge in execution where you
No,
don't
I don't
understand
think
the
so.
market
No, I
and
don't
therefore
think
you
so.
won't be able to do performance
No,
marketing,
I
say
don't
in
think so.
Jakarta?
No, I don't think so. That's not there. If we are able to crack them and get them on board, I think we'll do same justice we do for Indian markets, literally, right?
But
Because we
then
advertise across the globe as well.
it's because you are not today responsible for the creatives. But if you were responsible for the creators, that would be a challenge.
Yeah, that could definitely be a challenge, right? But even if it's an English market, like if it's an English speaking market, right? I don't think that creators would be still a challenge if you do a great job, right? You can still do a kick-ass job even if you don't know the market or industry or even the country, right?
Because that's a lot of the commentary today is that global players don't understand the Indian market, which is why they struggle.
Uh, I mean, you need to see, if you're working with a brand, right? Your brand needs to dial down a lot to you to make sure, because when you do creatives, you need to snatch, or you need to basically take a lot from the brand, and the brand has to do a great job in explaining you what they are and what are their customers. If they have not done their job well, we can't do our job well in creative, in putting the creatives out, right? If we are doing creative, so it a lot relies on them to explain us. It would be a first 2 3 times would be a challenge with them, but I am sure fourth fifth time the brands, or we like creative brands, pick up what their language is, and put
Mm,
really kick-ass creatives out.
got it. Cool, man.
uh Creatives reason, no. Performance strongly, yes. Yeah, yeah, performance, yes, for sure. We keep losing clients up down for performance, right? We couldn't deliver the performance what they wanted. Expectation settings were wrong. Uh, yeah, these two are the major reasons we lose customers. Yeah, we will, but we keep doing it. But the real ones wherein we have done good work, I think they will stay. They stay back, yeah, or they come back. Any of them, yeah. There have been chances where they have come back, right? And they have tried with us, and they are now working with us, right? Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think we should wrap. It was
Yeah.
an amazing session, and thank you. I think definitely learned a lot from the execution point of view and the higher perspective of how to approach it. Right.
Yeah, it was great. I think this is the most I've talked. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh. बोलता हूँ मैं पहले 16 मिनट में क्या बोला था.
But I think this is yeah. Yeah.
No worries.
But I think the real meat of it came after that, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. Ciao.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, man.
Hello. See you guys. Bye. I'll drop off. See you.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
I had a large forehead to begin with, so to accentuate it is just like yeah, yeah. Okay. But what made you kind of want to go live directly, right? Just wing it. Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, we were first capturing it to disk and then we were uploading, right? Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, we live, we learn. Hmm. Yeah. No, I just prefer the fact that we get it. The audio is the most important thing, right? Like, I'm not too opinionated about live versus. I mean, we could just upload it. Oh fuck. No, as long as we got Sergeant's audio, I think it's still okay. Awesome. Cool. Chalo. Thanks, man.